Hello, people. I'm back once again. Welcome to the show. In case you didn't know, my name is Danny Graham. And before we get started, as always, I'm actually do two things. First thing is please subscribe to my channel. And also, please hit the notification bell so you'll be notified on any of my uploads that I put on YouTube. Today, I want to talk to you briefly about something I've been hearing going on different articles I've read. It's talking about a possible third Thor 4. If any of you remember, last Thor 3, Ragnarok, was an outstanding movie. I hope they will build on that. But if they do a Thor 4, then I'm wondering what things could it reveal to us. First thing where I read about this was Tessa Thompson, who plays Valkyrie in Thor, and also if you watch Creed, she plays Apollo's wife. She was in a recent interview. I'm not sure with what news service, but she made a statement that she knows and she heard that Thor 4 was pitched, and don't know whether or not it's been confirmed, but she definitely knows that someone pitched Thor 4. Don't know what the storyline would be, don't know what the plot would be, but she heard that. It was interesting because if she heard that there was a Thor 4, and if they're actually considering doing that, then that means in my mind that Thor has survived Endgame. So that's one thing that we know. Because if he died in Endgame or vanished or whatever, why would they make a Thor 4? And as we know, Kevin Feige has already started phase 4 and already said that they have a 5-year plan in place. So if Thor 4 is part of that and they plan on moving on that, then that makes me think that Thor is definitely going to survive in Endgame, which is a plus. Also, we always talk about these big contracts. If Thor 4 is coming back, are they going to bring back Chris Hemsworth, who's been playing Thor all these years? Is he going to re-up his contract, or are they going to get somebody else? Now, I do know in the comic book, I think there's a female Thor now, or I read about it. I think there's a female Thor, and in some comics, that female Thor is Jane Foster, who's played by Natalie Portman, who played in Star Wars as Anakin Skywalker's wife, love interest. The Queen of Naboo. Natalie Portman played Jane Foster, who was Thor love interest in the first two movies. I think in some of the Thor books in the comic world, I believe that she had the power of Thor. So they may make her, Thor may somehow make it so that she's worthy of Stormbreaker and she becomes Thor. Don't know. But if they're doing a Thor 4, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not it's going to be able to sign Chris Hemsworth to renew or extend his contract. I definitely think that'd be a plus if they can get him locked down. Maybe that'd be hope for us. Get Robert Downey Jr. locked down and Chris Evans, because in my opinion, no other three actors can play those parts. They were made for that, built for that. So I think that'd definitely be a plus to get them all re-signed. And my last point on this is, could this just be a diversion? Could Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers intentionally give this information to Tessa Thompson, who plays Valkyrie? This information to say, look, we get a lot of heat. You get a lot of people talking about Endgame. A lot of people are trying to reveal plots, leaks, and all this kind of stuff. Let's put this out here to kind of divert them and try and take some of the heat off and maybe take some of the tension away from Endgame until next week, because next Thursday is when we all be able to see it. I already have my tickets. I'm ready to see it. And Kevin Feige and those Russo brothers, they are always trying to stay 2 or 3 steps ahead. You don't know whether the information they're giving you is real or is it made up. So this could be another diversion of something they're putting out there intentionally to try to throw people off, or to throw people off the scent of what's really going on in Endgame. I did see, I think it was on Everything Always YouTube. I'm not sure, I think it was. But there was a plot leak somewhere from France. And I was able to look over it and hear it as he was describing it. And it sounds like something that could actually happen in the movie. If you don't want to see it, then definitely don't go to that website and click on that particular link. But I believe it was Everything Always, which is a very popular link I follow on YouTube. As you know, there's going to be a lot of plot leaks out there and people making speculation. If you don't want to spoil the experience of the movie, then I'm going to please caution you, don't click on these links. I'm definitely going next Thursday, and Thursday night, as soon as I get done, I'm going to have a no spoiler review of the movie. I will not tell you anything. I will just tell you whether or not I like it, tell you whether or not it's worth your time and money and energy to go see it, which I definitely think it will be. But I'm going to do a no spoiler on Thursday night. Friday night or Friday afternoon, I'm probably going to do a full spoiler. So I will definitely let you know the difference between I put on the captions, no spoiler and full spoiler. But I'm definitely excited. Next Thursday, 6 o'clock, I'll be at the theater. Also, I'm reading 2 new comic books. One is the Shazam comic book. The Shazam comic book that's out now is basically parallel to the Shazam movie that just came out about 2 weeks ago. If you remember, Mr. Mind said at the end how he explained how there were different ways to get magic, and also that there were 7 realms. Well, this comic book, new Shazam line that's coming out now, explains those 7 realms. I have 4 of the books, so I'm trying to get the other 3. I think it's going to be a 7-part. If you live in South Carolina, if you live in Florence or close to Sumter, there are 2 main places you can get these comic books from. The first is Galactic Comic, which is located on West Palmetto Street behind the Krispy Kreme, if any of you are familiar with that area in Florence. And the second one is called Legends Comics, and it's located on South Irby Street. Time as you pass, if you pass the theater, the Julius Cinema, go down maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles. It's on your right. It's called Legends Comics. I like both of these places. Galactic has a lot more different items you can get from the cartoon, as far as pictures and statues and different collectibles. But what I love about Legends is that Legends is open on Sundays, and I mainly travel to Florence on Sundays. So please check out both those places if you live in Florence. They're good places you can get your books. For a long time I was kind of out of the comic book world. I'm starting to get back in it. The second comic book I'm reading now is called The Batman Who Laughs. It is a DC novel about Batman, or it's a Batman from a different reality or a different world. I think he's from Universe 22, I think, if I remember correctly. And this Batman that doesn't laugh, he is basically part Batman, part Joker. And for whatever reason, he's pulling all the Bruce Waynes from different universes and killing them. I've only read 2 parts of this book, but it seems to be very interesting. So if you want to get back into the comic world, I'll encourage you to check out those 2 locations. If you live in Columbia, there's a couple in Columbia I haven't been to, but if some of you live in Sumter or Florence, we have none in Sumter. The closest place you can go to is Florence, or depending on what side of town in Columbia. But please check out those 2 locations. You can get back into the comics, educate yourself on some of these movies that's going on. So again, about the Thor 4, I hope that happens. I hope the information we got will come to fruition, and I hope that Chris Hemsworth will be able to renegotiate his contract and come back and be the next Thor, or continue being Thor. I don't know what direction they would go in Thor 4, but if he doesn't come back, I could see a female Thor, Natalie Portman. I don't see how she could pull that off, because physically, she probably could pull off the Jane Foster part, most definitely. But whenever she transformed into Thor, they would definitely need a bigger Thor. They'd be more physically dominating, in my opinion. But please leave a comment. Tell me what you think. As always, stay safe, be cool. Peace.